Forbidden Love: How One Meeting Changed Everything. Lily had always led a quiet, predictable life. She was a dedicated student, loyal daughter, and someone who never strayed far from the rules. Her parents had high expectations, hoping she would one day marry into a respectable family and continue the legacy they had carefully crafted. She never questioned their wishes until the day she met him. It was a warm summer afternoon when Lily found herself at a small coffee shop by the river, a place she rarely visited. She was supposed to meet a friend, but her friend canceled last minute. Just as she was about to leave, a man walked in. He was different from anyone she had ever seen. His dark eyes carried a weight, a mystery, and his smile was charming but tinged with sadness. He sat down at the table next to her, and without realizing it, their eyes met. In that moment, something inside her shifted. His name was Adam. He wasn't from her world. He was an artist, living life on his own terms, far from the social circles she was accustomed to. They began talking, first about small things, but soon their conversation deepened. His thoughts on life, love, and freedom intrigued her. For the first time, Lily felt a connection that she couldn't explain, something raw and real that pulled her closer to him. Over the next few weeks, they began meeting in secret. They walked through parks at night, strolled along the river, and found hidden places where no one could judge them. Adam showed her a side of life she had never experienced, the beauty in simplicity, the joy of living for the moment, and the depth of emotions she had never dared to explore. But it was dangerous. Lily knew that her family would never accept Adam. He wasn't from the same social class. He didn't fit into the mold they had created for her future husband. The more time they spent together, the more Lily fell in love with him. She saw in Adam a soul that understood her, someone who saw beyond her perfect exterior to the woman she truly was. She wanted to be free with him, to abandon the expectations that weighed her down and live a life of passion and love. But it wasn't long before her family found out. One evening, after returning from yet another secret rendezvous with whispers, seen rumors swirling in the social circles they belonged to. His face was stern, his voice cold. He demanded to know the truth. Lily, with tears in her eyes, confessed everything. She told them about Adam, about their love, and how she couldn't imagine a life without him. But her father's reaction was swift and brutal. He forbade her from ever seeing Adam again, warning her of the shame she would bring upon their family. Heartbroken, Lily was torn between her love for Adam and her duty to her family. She tried to distance herself from him, but the pain was unbearable. Each day felt empty, as if a part of her had been ripped away. She missed his touch, his voice, and the way he made her feel alive. One night, unable to bear it any longer, Lily snuck out of her house to see Adam one last time. They met by the river, where it all began. She told him of her father's demands, of the impossible situation she was in. Adam, though heartbroken, understood. He knew the world she came from, and though he loved her deeply, he didn't want to be the cause of her suffering. But that night, something changed. Lily realized that she couldn't live a lie, couldn't sacrifice her happiness for the sake of appearances. She chose Adam, and together, they decided to run away. They would leave behind the judgment, the expectations, and build a life of their own. For months, they traveled together, free from the chains of their past. Lily had never felt so alive, so completely herself. They moved to a small town far away, where no one knew them, and built a life of love and creativity. Adam painted, and Lily wrote, pouring all of their emotions into their art. They weren't wealthy, but they had something far more valuable. They had each other. But even in their newfound happiness, the past lingered. Lily's family never forgave her, cutting her off completely. It hurt her deeply, but she knew that her love for Adam was worth the sacrifice. They created a life that was far from perfect, filled with struggles and hardships, but it was theirs, built on love and trust. Years passed, and though their journey wasn't easy, they never regretted their decision. Adam and Lily grew old together, their love deepening with each passing year. They built a family, had children who grew up knowing the power of love and the courage it took to follow your heart. In the end, Lily realized that one meeting had indeed changed everything. That fleeting moment in the coffee shop had altered the course of her life forever. She had chosen love, and though the path had been difficult, it had been worth every tear, every heartache, and every sacrifice. For in the end, love was all that mattered. Lily and Adam had built a life together, one that was filled with love, creativity, and the kind of joy that came from knowing they had chosen each other against all odds. Their small home was filled with laughter, and their children, Mia and Noah, were the embodiment of the love their parents had fought so hard for. However, as the years rolled on, the shadows of their past began to loom larger. One winter evening, as snowflakes fell gently outside, Lily received a call that shattered her world. Her father had fallen ill. The man who had once been her sternest critic was now in the hospital fighting for his life. The news felt like a knife to her heart. Despite their strained relationship, a part of her still cared for him deeply. Memories flooded back of her childhood, the good moments intertwined with the painful ones. Adam saw the change in her, the worry etched on her face, and though he wanted to be there for her, he understood that this was a journey she had to take alone. With a heavy heart, Lily made the decision to return home, leaving Adam and the children behind. She hoped that her father's condition might provide an opportunity for reconciliation, a chance to heal the wounds of the past. When she arrived at her childhood home, everything felt surreal. The walls that once seemed so familiar now felt foreign, filled with ghosts of old arguments and hurtful words. Her mother greeted her with open arms, tears streaming down her face. "We've missed you, Lily," she said, but Lily felt a pang of guilt, knowing that her absence was part of the reason for their pain. As she sat by her father's bedside, she could see the toll his illness had taken on him. The man who once exuded strength now looked fragile and broken. Lily struggled to find the right words, but she felt an overwhelming need to express her love and forgiveness. "Dad, I'm sorry for everything. I've missed you," she said, her voice trembling. But the moment was overshadowed by the harsh reality of their past. Her father, still proud and unwilling to show vulnerability, turned away from her. "You chose your path, Lily. I can't pretend that I understand it, nor can I accept it," he replied, his voice weak yet sharp. Those words cut through her, echoing all the pain of their fractured relationship. Lily fought back tears, feeling the old wounds reopen. Days turned into weeks as Lily stayed by her father's side. The tension between them was palpable, but she didn't give up. She shared stories about her life with Adam, the happiness they had found, and the love that had blossomed against the odds. But each story was met with silence or dismissal. Her father refused to engage with the love that had saved her. In the midst of all this, a shadow loomed over her life with Adam. Back home, he tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy for Mia and Noah. He poured himself into his art, but the weight of Lily's absence was heavy. He felt as if the joy had been sucked out of their home. The children sensed the tension and asked about their mother daily, which only deepened Adam's own sense of helplessness. One evening, after the kids had gone to bed, Adam received an unexpected visit from an old friend from his past, Mark. They had grown up together, but their paths had diverged. Mark had found success in business and had returned to the area, excited to see his old friend. Adam welcomed him warmly, trying to put on a brave face. As they reminisced about old times, Mark's eyes flickered with a knowing glint. "I've heard about Lily, and I'm glad she's happy," he said casually, but Adam could sense an undercurrent of something deeper in Mark's tone. "What do you mean?" Adam asked, a knot forming in his stomach. "I just think it's interesting how some people can't let go of the past. You know, the kind of love that never dies," Mark said, smirking slightly. Adam felt a chill run down his spine, sensing that Mark's words weren't just idle chatter. Over the next few days, Adam couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. He began to doubt himself, questioning whether he was enough for Lily. Was she truly happy with him? Was there a part of her that still longed for her old life, her family? The thoughts gnawed at him, and the shadows of insecurity began to creep into his heart. Meanwhile, Lily was struggling too. Her father's health continued to decline, and the emotional toll it took on her was immense. She had hoped for a moment of understanding, but instead, she felt more isolated than ever. Each visit to the hospital ended in frustration and hurt. It was as if her father was determined to keep her at arm's length, unwilling to let go of the past or embrace the present. One day, as she sat by his bedside, her father finally spoke up. "Lily, I'm proud of what you've accomplished, but you've broken our family. You ran away from everything that mattered," he said, his voice frail but filled with conviction. "I can't understand how you can be so happy with a man who is not worthy of you." "I love him, Dad. He makes me happy, something I never felt with you," she yelled, the pain of years of hurt pouring out. The room fell silent as her words hung in the air, and for a moment Lily felt a sense of relief, but it quickly turned into despair when her father's face turned pale. He was struggling to breathe, and Lily's heart raced with fear. She pressed the call button, frantically urging the nurses to come. Her father's condition worsened, and as the medical team rushed in, she felt her heart breaking. She hadn't meant for it to come to this, to say those words and push him away further. In the chaos, her mother's face mirrored Lily's fear. "You shouldn't have said that!" she screamed, tears streaming down her face. But there was no time for anger, only desperation as they fought to save him. The doctors worked quickly, but the tension in the room was palpable. Lily prayed silently, pleading for a chance to make things right. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, her father stabilized, but the incident left a mark on their already strained relationship. In the days that followed, Lily struggled with guilt. She had pushed for honesty, but the outcome was not what she had wanted. With each passing day, her father became more distant, and her own heart was torn. She felt like she was losing him all over again, and she couldn't bear it. She wanted him to see that love was not a weakness, that the life she had chosen was filled with joy and purpose. As she sat in the hospital room, she received a call from Adam. He could hear the tension in her voice and insisted on coming to visit. When he arrived, he found her sitting alone, staring out the window, lost in thought. "Lily, I miss you," Adam said softly, taking her hand. "The kids miss you. We need you back home." Her heart swelled at his words, but she was torn. "I don't know how to make this right, Adam. My father, it's complicated." Adam squeezed her hand, his eyes filled with understanding. "Love is complicated, but it's also worth fighting for. You've fought for us before. You can do it again. We can do it together." Lily looked into his eyes, seeing the unwavering love and support he had always offered. In that moment, she realized that no matter the outcome with her father, her love for Adam was unshakable. But just as she was about to speak, her phone buzzed with a message that sent a chill down her spine. It was Mark, and his words dripped with intrigue. "I've heard some things about your husband, things that might interest you." Lily's heart raced, and she felt a sudden wave of panic. She turned to Adam, who watched her closely, sensing her unease. "What is it?" he asked. "Mark. He said he's heard things about you," she admitted, her voice trembling. Adam's expression darkened. "What kind of things?" Before she could answer, her father's voice echoed in her mind. The weight of her choices crashed down on her like a tidal wave. In that moment, she realized that the shadows of her past were not yet gone. They had merely shifted. As they left the hospital, the uncertainty of their future loomed over them. Lily knew that the path ahead would be filled with challenges and revelations. But one thing remained clear. Love was worth fighting for, even when the world felt like it was falling apart around them. Little did she know that the truth would soon unravel everything she thought she knew about love, family, and the choices that bind us together or tear us apart. And as the storm brewed on the horizon, the very foundations of their lives would be tested in ways they could never have imagined. As Lily and Adam drove home from the hospital, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken words and unresolved tension. Lily's heart raced with fear and uncertainty, fueled by Mark's cryptic message. What could he possibly know that would threaten her family? She felt torn between her past and her present, and the weight of impending revelations hung heavily on her shoulders. The moment they arrived home, the warmth of their children's laughter filled the air, a bittersweet reminder of the love they had built together. Mia and Noah rushed to greet their mother, wrapping her in a tight embrace, their innocent joy momentarily easing her troubled mind. Adam smiled at the children, but she could see the worry in his eyes. After putting the kids to bed, Lily and Adam settled into the living room, the glow of the fireplace casting flickering shadows on the walls. The comfortable silence between them was broken by the urgency of their unaddressed concerns. "Lily, what did Mark say to you?" Adam asked, his voice steady but laced with concern. "I can tell something's bothering you." She hesitated, weighing the consequences of sharing her fears. But the love they shared was built on honesty, and she knew she had to tell him. "He mentioned hearing things about you, things that could affect our family," she said, her voice trembling. Adam's expression shifted from concern to frustration. "What kind of things? Why does he have to involve himself in our lives? He's always been trouble." "I don't know, Adam," she admitted, tears welling up in her eyes. "But I can't shake the feeling that he knows something." Adam leaned forward, taking her hands in his. "Listen to me. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. I love you, and I trust you. Don't let anyone come between us." His words soothed her heart, but doubt lingered. What if it's something I can't handle? What if it threatens everything we've built? "Then let's confront him," Adam suggested, determination evident in his tone. "We'll go together, and we won't let him intimidate us." Lily felt a surge of gratitude for Adam's unwavering support, but the idea of facing Mark filled her with dread. What if he's right? What if there's something about you I don't know? Adam's gaze hardened. "Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. I won't let him take you away from me." The next morning, Lily reached out to Mark, reluctantly agreeing to meet him at a nearby cafe. The sun shone brightly, but the warmth didn't reach her heart as she prepared for what lay ahead. Adam insisted on accompanying her, and together they drove to the cafe, the silence between them thick with anticipation. As they entered the bustling cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the chatter of patrons.
Lily spotted Mark sitting at a corner table, his demeanor casual, but the gleam in his eyes was anything but friendly.
He looked up as they approached, a smirk playing on his lips.
"Lily, Adam, thanks for coming," he said, his voice smooth like silk. "I knew you'd be curious."
"Get to the point, Mark," Adam replied, his voice firm. "What do you know?"
Mark leaned back in his chair, surveying them with an air of superiority.
"Oh, I know quite a bit about your past, Adam. More than you might think."
Lily's heart raced.
"What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling.
"There are things about you that aren't exactly transparent," Mark continued, his tone condescending. "Like your little secret life before you met Lily."
Adam's expression darkened and Lily could feel the tension in the air.
What are you talking about? Adam demanded.
Let's just say I've heard whispers about your connections, Mark said, his eyes glinting with malice. And I can't help but wonder how Lily would feel if she found out the truth.
Lily's stomach churned.
What truth? She pressed, feeling the walls closing in around her.
Just think about it, a guy like Adam? You really think he'd choose a life on the streets over money and power? There's more to him than meets the eye, Mark taunted, his voice dripping with insinuation.
Lily turned to Adam, searching his face for answers.
Is this true? Did you have a life before me that you haven't told me about?
Adam's jaw clenched and he shot Mark a furious look.
You're lying. I've never hidden anything from you, Lily.
Then what is he talking about? She demanded, feeling the ground shift beneath her.
Mark is just trying to sow discord between us. He thrives on chaos, Lily. You know that, Adam replied, desperation in his voice.
But doubt crept in, and Lily felt the world around her start to spin.
Tell me the truth, Adam. I need to know if there's something I don't understand.
In that moment, Mark seized the opportunity.
You want the truth? Fine. Adam used to be involved in some shady dealings. He had connections to people who wouldn't hesitate to cross him. I don't know all the details, but I know he wasn't always the man you think he is.
Stop it! You're trying to ruin us!
Am I? Or am I simply revealing what's been hidden?
Adam stood, fury igniting in his eyes.
You're nothing but a coward, Mark. You can't stand to see someone happy. You'll do anything to destroy what we have.
Can you blame me? You think you're better than everyone because you found love? I'm just showing Lily the truth.
Lily felt her heart shatter as Adam turned away, the weight of Mark's words bearing down on him.
I need to go. I can't do this right now.
Adam, wait!
Lily cried, reaching for him, but he stepped back, pain etched on his face.
Just give me a moment.
And with that, he left the cafe, leaving Lily alone with Mark and a whirlwind of emotions.
See? This is what happens when the truth comes out. You two were never meant to last.
Lily glared at him, fury surging through her.
You're a monster, Mark. You think you can manipulate us. You think you can destroy our love.
Love? You're just living in a fantasy. You don't know who Adam really is. What if you find out he's not who you thought? What if he's been lying all along?
Lily felt torn, the foundations of her world shaking beneath her. But deep down, she knew the love she shared with Adam was real. They had fought too hard to let someone like Mark tear them apart.
Leave us alone, Mark. You don't know anything about what we've built together.
Oh, but I do. I know that secrets have a way of coming to light. And when they do, it won't just be Adam you'll be disappointed in.
With those final words, Mark stood up, leaving Lily with a pit of dread in her stomach. She realized she had to find Adam and make him see that their love was worth fighting for. Lily rushed out of the cafe, scanning the street for any sign of him. Her heart raced as she searched, desperation clawing at her. Just when she thought she might lose him, she spotted him sitting on a bench in a nearby park, his head in his hands.
Adam, please, let's talk.
He looked up, pain evident in his eyes.
I don't know what to say, Lily. If Mark is right, I don't want to hurt you.
Listen to me. No matter what's happened in the past, we can face it together. I love you and I believe in us.
He hesitated, and for a moment, she could see the battle within him. You don't know what you're asking me to face. I've made mistakes, Lily. I've done things I'm not proud of.
Lily took a deep breath, determination coursing through her. Whatever it is, we can work through it. I don't care about the past, I care about our future.
Tears filled his eyes as he looked at her, the weight of his secrets threatening to crush him.
You're right. I need to tell you everything, but I'm scared, Lily. I don't want to lose you.
You won't, she said firmly. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere.
With her words, Adam took a deep breath and began to share the truth of his past. As he spoke, Lily felt her heart ache for the boy he had once been, the choices he had made, and the life he had left behind. But through it all, she saw the man he had become, the one who had fought for her love, who had built a life filled with joy and laughter. And as they talked late into the evening, with the stars twinkling above them, they felt the shadows of doubt begin to lift. Together, they could face whatever came next, for their love was worth every struggle. But in the darkness, Mark watched from afar, a malicious smile on his face. He knew the game wasn't over, and the secrets he held would soon come to light. He relished the thought of the chaos yet to unfold, for in his heart he believed that no love could survive the truth. Mark's intentions were clear. He was determined to bring chaos into their lives, convinced that the truth he held would destroy their love. As Lily and Adam embraced, the future seemed uncertain, but one thing was clear: they were stronger together, and they would fight against anyone who dared to come between them. And as they faced the challenges ahead, they knew that love, despite the pain, was always worth the fight.